Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And straight at the bat, let me ask you guys one question. Is fiat your main investment? The way I'm saying it here is really important. I'm calling fiat an investment slash hodl. It's because fiat, by you keeping your money in there, you're basically you're making a choice to hold a specific asset that's gonna go perform in some way, shape, or form over the next couple of days, months, years, whatever. And you're doing that deliberately. What do I mean with that? What am I saying? What is this crazy guy talking about? Well, think about it from this perspective. The dollar, even though I hold it, even though I think it's kind of a must for most people that use the dollar to hold it because you have to pay the bills and whatnot, and you might get paid in that, I hold it because I know I need it. It's not because I want to. It is not because I think it's a smart choice. So me asking you guys at the start is to make you think about your fiat, make you think about the choices you're making and making you think about it as an investment, because by keeping money in fiat, what this thing is you have an opportunity cost. You're basically putting your money into something which is most likely only going to deteriorate as time goes on. Deliberately is what you're doing it that for, and you're missing out somewhere else. I mean, maybe it's the S&P 500, maybe it's just the normal stock market in general, like you're one of specific stocks. Maybe it's the crypto market, who knows what it is. But you're missing out most likely. Even if you have a savings account, you most likely are still basically lowballing yourself, but that's the story for a different day. The reason I'm actually putting this up is because of these types of statements. Mr. Whale just posted out loud or on Twitter, breaking, Fed Chair Jerome Powell now says, quote, inflation could turn out to be higher and more persistent than we originally expected. Then, end quote. Fun fact is that he knew this already. They most likely knew this a long time ago, but they only decided to kind of up it piece by piece because it would create too much of a havoc. They already upped the inflation. They already did, and they're doing it piece by piece and piece again. It's so funny how a lot of people think it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make a lot of sense. You know that your wages don't really increase that much, yet the inflation does, which basically means your purchasing power is going down every single year, piece by piece. In theory, your purchasing power should always stay the same, so your wages go up in the same proportion that the inflation goes on, yet it doesn't work that way. Very often, for example, the milk gets a 14% increase all of a sudden, and your wages might go up 1%, maybe 2% if you have the proper, rules basically for your specific occupation. But generally speaking, you're going to lose purchasing power, and that's the specific situation with fiat very often, and I just want to kind of warn you guys for it. Not really any conspiracy type of theory here, just telling you guys what's the truth. You also know that the U.S. has a crazy ton of debt. It will only get worse, and so theoretically speaking, to fix that problem, they have to print more and more and more, and so your money's just going to keep getting more and more worthless. But all right. Imagine thinking XRP is a security when watching Japan, who already declared it as not a security, leverage the digital asset for cross-border transactions through ODL. America is embarrassing. Guys, make sure you press that like button right now if you think about it in the same fashion. Imagine thinking XRP is a security. Imagine just thinking that. How, right? I mean, I can think of a couple of reasons why. If you really ask me honestly, I can think of a couple of reasons why, and here's one thing that I'll show you guys to kind of make my point clear. But before we get into any of that, make sure that you check out Bybit. A link is down below. The competition is going to be over in a couple of hours from now, but there's a $1,610 bonus that you can get in total. I've already asked one of the community managers here to get me a proper link so you guys can actually see how the bonus works. But trust me when I say that if you make an account right now, there's $1,600 worth of bonuses that you can get. So, yeah, that is that, all right? A link is down below for Bybit. Now, what was I saying about security? All right, let's put up a couple of things up front. I do not think XRP is a security, nor do the majority of people that I know, except for Da Vinci, I guess. He's not really bullish on XRP. What actually drives a lot of these community members, though, is what other community members say. Because a lot of the people in the community don't know what makes a crypto a security and what doesn't. That's because even the SEC doesn't know, yet it's being basically fueled by what others are saying. Here is a little bit of a picture. We are going to drive a massive demand for XRP because we are solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem. Brad Garlinghouse by Status. So I have two things to say about this. One, I'm not sure if it's actually a direct quote or a quote to some degree, basically where it's a quote summary type of quote, you know what I mean? Or not, but I can understand, you can see by the likes here, that this little sentence here got a lot of attention for two reasons. One, it's a really bullish thing, right? It's the truth. There's going to be a lot of demand created for XRP because of this huge problem that's being solved. But do you also understand how this can be really controversial and actually by the SEC to some degree used as evidence against Ripple? What do I mean with that? Well, right now in court, one of the issues that's being decided is if Ripple is one of the major factors within XRP's progress and that people are expecting the price to rise solely upon Ripple's efforts. That's a really big debacle. Ripple says the price never rises because of us, yet if we put up an article or a title or a picture that looks like this, basically making it seem as if Ripple is going to increase the price, basically, right? That's kind of the underlying message here. We're going to drive a massive demand for XRP. Basically, we're going to pump the price like crazy or get it pumped because we're solving such a huge problem. You can understand, right, why some people might get it the wrong way. I'm just really wanted to make clear here that you guys should be also careful, in my opinion, with what statements get out there because maybe the SEC is watching. Maybe they also think about it that way, and things could just be confusing. I know there's no rule book, and even if this statement was taken by the SEC, by Barry Gallagher himself spoken, and the SEC would use it, it wouldn't really do too much. But it's about the idea that some statements out there can be confusing. And if you say, for example, oh, I really wish Ripple this or that, some things are actually exactly what the SEC is trying to prove. Even though we might think they are wrong, maybe the judge doesn't. And so be careful with some of that stuff, and be careful with this type of stuff specifically. Let me know if you agree down below, by the way. I can see this from two sides. One, I don't really think that it matters because XRP is decentralized, or the XRP ledger, I should say. And so if Ripple wants to actually increase the demand, so be it. They can do it whatever they want. And also, driving a massive demand for a crypto and driving the price up are two different things. And they're basically just saying that there's most likely going to be more people that are going to use XRP because they're solving such a huge problem, which is kind of a logical deduction anyway. Then again, I might also see it from a different perspective where people are saying Ripple is openly admitting that they're going to be pumping the price because of the amount of efforts that they're going to be putting in. So I would personally be careful with that type of stuff. All right. Small BTC holders are pulling huge force. 12-year trend reveals Bitcoin's next phase. I don't really believe it. Bitcoin supply distribution by participants, I don't believe in any of that. I think it's a nice statistics to see. But even though I love statistics, don't get me wrong, I don't believe in the Bitcoin statistics yet. Maybe if I study it further for the next couple of years, eventually I'll turn into a statistician that loves this type of Bitcoin stuff. But I'm too solid in believing that it's all still chance to some degree. I shouldn't maybe say chance. I should maybe call it the way of the bigger money and not just a chart that's to be followed by the small fries like us. Because the big guys with a lot of money know how these things work and they know how to manipulate that to make you lose money still. Because if all of us saw this and saw a pattern in it too, and we'd all trade the same way, well, still 90% of us should lose money, right? So how can that go, right? No, I don't think it's as easy as this. You can now pay with Dogecoin at Burger King Brazil, but there's one big catch. Finally, Dogecoin is getting more respect. The crypto started off as a joke that played off into an internet meme, and Elon Musk appeared to dismiss it as a hustle on Saturday Night Live. But apparently you can now accept it, but only for its dog treats. So, if Burger King wants to dip its toes in crypto market, then it makes sense to start by accepting a dog-themed crypto, but only you can actually buy some specific stuff. One dog per will set you back 3 Dogecoins, or about 60 cents in US money. Burger King also accepts Brazil's government-issued currency, the real, for dog per purchases, but it's pretty funny, I guess, huh? Because, well, it's most likely good marketing if they do it that way, right? At least I would kind of think so. All right, moving on. Abba G posted, the tested digital euro system was able to simultaneously process more than 300,000 payment transactions a second, and the funds reached receivers in less than 2. Which crypto can do that? And I always want to scratch my head. Mostly on the reason that people are comparing private and public ledgers with each other. Now, it's a lot easier to basically do a very high amount of transactions per second if it's off-chain. If it's on the chain, logically speaking, things are just a lot slower because they have to be a lot more secure and you don't really have to trust. What I mean with that is that if it's a private party doing something off-chain, one party can just say what transactions took place, and as long as there's just normal computing power for it, You can basically store, let's say, 100,000 transactions a second quite simply if you can store it and manage, basically take it properly. But that's not really that much effort. Theoretically speaking, you could just have a really fast computer, and it could, theoretically speaking, do everything. With an entire network, that's a little bit differently, right? Because you can't trust one party that every single input that went through is the actual truth. You have to verify that by every single other party to make sure that every single person, every single validator is on the exact same line. And that's what makes these things so slow and so, I guess, reliable. Because they have to check it everywhere, but that comes at the cost of speed. All right, let's quickly see what else we had here. Let's quickly see. Craig DeWitt posted, instant cross-border payments with zero pre-funding and no Nostro accounts. In the near future, most global payments will look like this or work like this, which is just again what Ripple has been doing right here. Pretty damn solid. This one we will get into a little bit later, and I guess this one we can kind of call in for right now. No, Cointelegraph, this is not a test. There's no mention of test in either release from Ripple or SBI. There is the word fast test. The word you are looking for is launch. How? With the abundant liquidity of SBI VC trade. Why? Because XRP eliminates parking fiat, the Nostro voucher system. And that's because Cointelegraph called it Japan to test Ripple's ODL service for money transfers to the Philippines, but it's not that way because they most likely tested it for a very long while, and right now they started to adapt it all the way through. And I mean, I gotta admit, it's really max. Ooh, I almost undid the retweet. It's really maximalist behavior right here because this is obviously a lie or at least a misunderstanding made up by somebody to not put up the full truth because they just don't want to. I can't see it any other way. Cointelegraph has done this multiple times before, so yeah. I mean, I don't like it, but it's the way it goes. Guys, that was it for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe, and I will definitely see you guys again in another crypto video soon.